Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to Guns N' Roses Central, and it's time to recap this week's news. It's our first news video of 2018, and we've got a ton of news, even though Guns N' Roses are actually off the road right now. So the big piece of news is that Fernando, who's Guns N' Roses manager, who we ended up meeting in LA in November, teased something on social media. So this is from his Instagram. He was talking about 2017. And he said, we've covered a lot of ground this year. He said Madrid stood out as one of the dates that was quite memorable. He said 2018 will surely top these last few years. Can't wait to be a part of what's to come. So, you know, I don't know how 2018 could top 2016 and 2017 unless Guns N' Roses are really doing something different, maybe releasing something like a song or an album or a DVD or some sort of documentary footage. Who knows? But as the news breaks, guys, we will keep you posted. We also posted our best and worst moments for Guns N' Roses this past year, and we also had a podcast in 2017, our last podcast, where we had Kevin, Jeff, Bailey, and myself, and we discussed our best and worst moments, and Kevin showed off some more of his rare collection of Guns N' Roses memorabilia. So Slash has done, I think it was his first video interview since the reunion started. He's done an interview with Leslie West as well as on Joey Kramer's show. But those weren't actually on video, and he was appearing on Nikki Sixx's YouTube series 6th Sense. He also appeared on Nikki Sixx's radio show, which I've linked to some of the stuff on my channel. The Nikki Sixx's radio show is terrible. It truly is horrible. Like, it was late at night, and I'm waiting to listen to Slash, and they play 6 songs in a row, and then they play like a 2-minute snippet interview with Slash, and they're like, we'll be right back with Slash. They play like another 6 songs, and I'm like, I'm not going to wait anymore for this stuff. But basically, Slash talked about 2018, and basically said that he is working... that's all he said. He said he kept busy working, but he wouldn't elaborate what that was. We do know that Slash is working on a new horror film, and he may be in the studio with the conspirators minus Miles, so we'll have to wait and see. But as that news breaks, guys, I will let you know. I've also linked to the interview with Nikki Sixx, which I've also provided a rundown of. The interview on his last episode of 6th Sense on YouTube really had nothing about the reunion. It was more about his favorite riffs, songwriting, and that kind of stuff. So the other big news we had this week is that Slash bought a new house in Encino for $6.2 million. Now, if you guys remember, about a week ago, he had sold his other house for way below what he originally listed it for. He sold it to rapper Big Sean. He originally listed his old house with his second wife, Perla Hudson, for around $11 million back in 2015, and it just recently sold for $8.7 million. So these are some pictures of Slash's new house. It's going to feature about 10,000 square feet of interior space. It has 6 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, white oak flooring, decorative molding, white brick, high ceilings, and nesting French doors. He's also got a games room in there. He's got a basketball court, a swimming pool. He's got a family room with a fireplace. He's got an office. He's got a movie theater in there as well, and a gym, as well as a master suite with a private balcony. And he's also got a spa, covered patios, a fire pit grill, and a sports court, a guest house, and a pool cabana with a bath. So those are the photos, guys. I know a lot of people said they didn't like the house. I think it looks really nice, but that's just my opinion. Let's go on to our next news story. So Slash was spotted at Disneyland once again this month. He was spotted the first week of December with Todd Kerns and the rest of the conspirators minus Miles. It was Todd Kerns' birthday, but he was spotted this time around with Megan and her 2 daughters. These are some photos they posted on social media. We also had Slash spotted earlier this month at the Viper Room. He was there supporting his conspirator friend Todd Kerns, who was playing a show there. So this is a photo he took with Jimmy Webb, who has that store in New York called I Need More. If you guys remember, Duff and Slash were actually at the opening of that store. And here's the actual snippet of them at the opening.
Rock and roll! I love you all! Go, Jimmy. Come on, baby.
If you cut my hair, I need a
Hey, move down a little bit. Should we stop this level? Got it? Wait, should go down? Yeah. Thank you, Slash. Rock and roll. Let me know about it. Take your picture. Thank you, Brittany Lori. Love you all. Come on in. Love.
What is it about Jimmy that makes you want to support him? Pretty much what I said. I mean, he's just a sweet, 100% genuine person, and he is real personified. And he's never wavered. You know, and he's always been very supportive of me. And we've been through a lot together over the years, and we've had a lot of ups and downs in our personal lives. And we've been friends over the years. So I really wanted to take that. We live in
So we got some more news about Guns N' Roses tours in the Americas this past fall when they did South America, and then they did their tour across North America in arenas, and they netted $106 million. So these are some of the highlights of some of the shows. So the 2 nights they played at the Forum, they brought in $3.4 million. Air Canada Centre, they got $3.3 million for those 2 shows. Madison Square Garden, those 3 shows they played, netted them $6.16 million. Now, it's important to note these are gross sales. This is before Guns N' Roses take all their deductions off, their overhead, all that stuff. They have an enormous overhead, but they're still taking home a lot of money at the end of the day. So we had a recent interview with Slayer guitarist Kerry King where he praised Guns N' Roses in a recent interview. Now, he was talking about how Slayer's sound really hasn't changed over the years, and when you listen to a Slayer record, it's kind of like they're the AC/DC of thrash metal. Now, he did say, I think a lot of bands become mega bands because they have a unique singer who sounds like no one else. Look at Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses. Is one of the biggest bands on the planet because of that, and great songs, of course. So, Richard Fortus, Slash, and former Guns N' Roses guitarist Bumblefoot made the best guitars list of 2017, as voted on fans by Music Radar and Total Guitars. So, Slash and Richard Fortus made the number 3 spot, and then Bumblefoot was a little bit lower on the list. So the number 1 spot was actually taken by Brian May. If you guys want to see the entire list, I've linked to it below. There's a new photo of Axl that emerged online this week with ZZ Top's Billy Gibbons backstage at probably a Guns N' Roses show, I'm guessing, maybe the Houston show where Billy Gibbons came out on stage and played with them. And one thing that's noticeable is that Axl's not wearing any of his jewelry backstage, so maybe it's something he just wears for show, like whenever they're on stage, and then he takes it off afterwards. So bad news for Funko Pops, which made the Guns N' Roses vinyl figures of Axl, Slash, and Duff. So they're being sued by Gibson over unauthorized use of guitars. So if you guys haven't got your Funko Pops, it may be a good time to maybe look into it. So, of course, Funko Pops makes other figures than just the Guns N' Roses ones. They have a whole line of them, and they have a bunch of other musicians as well. So I believe that Slash was actually named in the lawsuit, or at least the Funko Pop of Slash. They've also named the Metallica ones they did of James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett, as well as Kiss members Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley. So if Gibson is successful in their lawsuit, it could mean that these Funko Pops could disappear off shelves, and maybe they'll be worth something someday. So if you guys haven't got yours, you should head on over to Amazon. I put the link below in my article where you guys can go ahead and over and find the Funko Pops. So we've also got some sad news to report as well. So it was reported earlier this week that the co-owner of LA's iconic Canter's Deli died of an apparent heart attack at age 58. Now, when I first read this article, I thought it was Mark Canter, who we interviewed back about a month ago, but it turns out I think it was his brother Gary Canter, who's also the co-owner, and according to the publication The Blast, they were the first to report the news of his passing after a family member posted the news on Canter's personal Facebook page. So our thoughts and prayers go to the Canter family. We had such a great time at Canter's when we went there about a month ago, and Mark was really great to us, and he was nice enough to sit down with us as well. So if you guys remember this photo from a couple weeks ago, this was a fan who ran into Axl in LA in December. Some people were wondering even if it was a new photo or not. So it turns out it was a new photo, and there's some more context over how this meeting actually happened. So the fan, I don't think English is his first language, but the fan's name is Jimmy, and he was walking near Chin Chin in Hollywood with his 2 dogs, and he said Axl Rose was very friendly and had the following comments on his Instagram page. He said, I told him about Rumbo, a studio where I worked, and he recorded the first 2 Guns there. Max Axl, which I think is one of his dogs, Max and Axl must be both of his dogs. He said Axl is a champion. He has more night than Dracula. He said, I was happy. I was walking with 2 beautiful dogs. I think he does not like photos, vanity, and that, but he was hyper friendly and good vibes, the original bad boy. We also had a new interview with Tracy Gunz of the band LA Gunz, and he was asked by a fan. They were taking fan questions on Guitar World, and he was asked, you helped form Guns N' Roses in the mid-'80s. How did you first meet Axl Rose? He said, I first met Axl from Izzy Stradlin. Izzy always told me, yeah, you know, I have this buddy in Indiana. He can really sing. I'm going to bring him out there. Izzy was living in my mom's house. I was about 16 or 17, and he was 19 or 20. And so eventually Axl came out, and they put together, I think it was probably Hollywood Rose and then LA Gunz and Hollywood Rose, and Poison did a show. Our first show together at Madame Wong's West. Poison played upstairs in the big room, and LA Gunz and Hollywood Rose played in a small room downstairs, and that was really the first day I heard Axl sing. It was at soundcheck, and I was like, holy shit, he was incredible. We became friends after that, and within the next 6 months, he ended up singing for LA Gunz, and we eventually changed that into Guns N' Roses. I was in that version of Guns N' Roses for about 8 months, and then I took off to do LA Gunz again. So that does it for this episode of Guns N' Roses Central, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hit the comment section down below to let me know your thoughts. And let me know some of your best and worst moments of 2017 and what you think we'll see in 2018. Be sure to also hit the subscribe button if you guys love Guns N' Roses as much as I do. And be sure to share this video and go visit us at GNRcentral.com every day for the latest GNR news. Take care.